Hey, good morning. Today's the 25th of July 2023. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to be having probably my first counselling session to talk about some of the traumatic things that my family and I have experienced in the last 2 years. So I thought I would start some video diaries. I'm a mum of five and I have two stepchildren. I've also lost three children, so in total I have 10 children. I live with the five of my children. One stepchild lives in the Caribbean and the other lives with her father. I'm doing these diary videos because I think it's gonna not just help me get things out of my mind, but also it's got to help someone else out there, because the things that I'm experiencing, there's nothing under the sun that no one else has experienced. Like everything under the sun, as they say in church, like there's nothing new under the sun, right? So everyone's experienced stuff, and I'm sure someone has experienced what I'm going through, and I'm sure there's probably content out there, there's videos out there that can actually help me. But the only way that I can see helping myself is to do a video, do multiple videos, and hopefully this is going to help me and help others. So this introduction is literally just, giving you guys a background of who I am and why I am vlogging, as they call it. So I'm originally from Northampton in the Midlands in the UK. I grew up in a family that was very wholesome. My mum and dad were married for like 35 years. I have four siblings. I've got an older brother, I've got a younger brother and two younger sisters. Some of my siblings might not want to, claim, as they put it, the last sibling, but as the eldest daughter, I know you're supposed to do things right, as my grandparents tell me. So I have an older brother, a younger sister. Older brother, younger brother, and two younger sisters. I grew up in a family where my dad was hardworking and he would always do the early shift. My mum was also very hardworking throughout her career. She's done many things. She's been a nurse, she's been an administrator. My dad was a tool setter, very hardworking, also a chef, and an amazing dad, an amazing father. Couldn't fault him for anything. And also my mum. Caribbean families are not the easiest to grow up in. Our culture is very can be a bit aggressive, I'll put it that way. Assertive and aggressive. There's a lot of traditional paradigms that the Caribbean culture like to follow, i.e. rice and peas on a Sunday, soup on a Saturday, fry up on a Friday, or takeaway Friday, them kind of things. But also, the man being the breadwinner, the wife has to do the housework and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because I don't want no one to be coming on here and coming for me saying, oh my God, are you just dissing the Caribbean culture? Just giving you a little, background. I was very fortunate to grow up in a family where I had a mum and dad. So some people would say you're spoiled because you actually got both parents. I've got friends that don't know their dad. I've got friends that don't know their mum. So I was blessed to have both parents who put me through school, college, university, and I had the privilege of my dad walking me down the aisle also. So that's my background. I fell in love with a Jamaican. Our story of how we met would be shared in the video, but we also have, me and that young man, we have four children. Remember, I've got 5 kids, yeah, but I have 4 children for the young man that I met from the Caribbean. So there's lots to dig into my story. don't even know where to start, to be honest, because sometimes I think, do I go all the way back to how my journey began? Or do I just start with where I am right now? And I think that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with where I am right now. I left my hometown last year, October. I didn't tell anyone that I was going. I didn't even tell my mum. To this day, no one knows where I live. Probably like 2 people know where I live. Obviously, my children know because they live with me. But I left my hometown. I wanted, when I was leaving my hometown, to be, you know, all the celebrations, the parties, the gifts, the laughter, the memories, the handwritten notes in a memory book, but that didn't happen. I left abruptly because I was hurt. I was hurt because of the information that I've had to learn to digest over the last 18 to 20 months of my life. My 4 children, my 4 daughters, over the years have changed. Their characteristics have changed, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I put it down to, you know, my husband at the time dying, and grief takes on different forms, and I just assumed that my children were grieving. I thought they were grieving for their daddy, who died overseas of lung cancer. I've now had to accept that it wasn't just their dad dying that was an issue, but it came to my attention that my children had been abused. My 4 daughters were abused by a family member, someone who I physically saw come into the world. I was at that person's birth. I actually held that child in my hand. I actually supported my sibling as that child grew. I actually feel, even to this day, that that child is mine because I've been there from the beginning. And I have not dealt with this the best way. Let's put it real. I haven't dealt with it the best way. I've dealt with it the way that I know. I don't know any other way to deal with it. How do you deal with your children telling you they've been abused by a family member who you've brought up as if it's your own child? So I left abruptly and moved to a different location, and now I'm here doing this video because I think this is the only way I can get my feelings out without people interrupting me, without people misunderstanding me. Everything that I'm saying is coming from my heart. There's no script here. There's no notes. I'm literally talking from my heart.